Hi, it's Wing. I'm at the beach. I thought I'd do something different today and just ramble on about a topic. This one is particularly relevant to most of our situations at the moment where we're stuck at home. I'm not at the moment, but usually I am. We're stuck living most of our lives in one room, and that really forces us to stay in the present, live in the moment, and live consciously, which are the three main things I want to touch on and ramble about today. So, what is living in the present? I don't really know either. I don't think I have a set definition for it, but I think it's along the lines of enjoying your life to the fullest in this particular moment without lingering too long in the past or the future, which is so much easier said than done. So I've written a vague list of points I want to get through with this video. I'm going to start off with some things that have helped me stay more in the present and live my life more consciously, which I've been able to do a lot better recently, but it took a lot of work and a lot of deconditioning my brain and brainwashing my brain as well. The number one thing I think helped the most was putting my phone down and putting my phone away. I used to walk around texting a lot, just looking down at my phone, not looking at where I was going. Like, I wouldn't trip over or anything, but I wasn't really conscious of what was changing around me, the scenery that was going by. So a habit I've gotten into is putting my phone face down whenever I'm at a table or anywhere. Say I'm working at my desk at home, I'll put my phone face down so I don't even get the temptation of looking at my phone when it lights up with a notification. It's really tempting to want to go and answer it, but it's a big distraction. For times when I'm outdoors, I will usually keep my phone in my bag or in my pocket as much as I can, so I don't have it in my hand and I'm not checking it 24/7. So that's the first thing that helps me stay really present. Another tip to help you stay more present is to notice and appreciate the small things. That could be anything as small as what color the sky is today, if there are any clouds, is the sun out, like what can you see from your window, really small things like that. And not just seeing them, but observing them and taking note of them, because you see so much in a day. We get overloaded with information, but it only matters if we can process that and really consider what we're seeing and why it's important. Whenever I get into a state of not being able to appreciate or even notice things around me, I try to let myself narrate what I'm seeing. So right now I'm at the beach and I can hear the waves crashing in. I can hear the birds calling, like in the woods there. I can feel this sand on my feet. I can see the sun setting right now. And even just that stream of consciousness helps you stay grounded in this moment, even though you might not want to be here. There's a dog over there. That's so cute. Another huge thing is reflection, which is such an overused term, but it's overused for a reason and for good reason. But it only works if you know how to make it work for you. So, what I found works for me is analyzing and reflecting as I go about my day. Not only when I'm at home or after the whole day is over and I'm about to crash and sleep. Whenever something happens, I'll try and at least process it and reflect on something good about it, or if there was anything I could do to improve the situation or the way that I acted. So for example, this is my first time filming a talking video in public and it's slightly intimidating. So reflecting on this, I would want to boost my confidence in being able to talk naturally in a video like this and not feel insecure or bad about filming. So reflecting as you go about your day is something that I've found really helps me and helps me find ways that I can improve my attitude and the way I'm approaching my life every day. And can't find the word. For the really hardcore reflection that you do, I like keeping a notes open in my phone, which is solely for my own reflection. It replaces a hard copy of a diary that I used to keep, but I never could keep up with it because I couldn't write fast enough for my brain to catch up. So I found that typing it out on a note works much better for me, but find your own way of doing it. Find whatever works for you. I don't write in it every day, but whenever something major happens or I get really clouded up in my head, writing them all out in a stream of consciousness really helps. And it's like being your own therapist to an extent, where you can psychoanalyze yourself and come from a detached perspective where you're looking at your own life as an outsider with no judgment. I've only recently started doing this, and not so recently, but I've been doing this for about a year. Even though I've tried journal logging my thoughts before, I've only recently started to be really adamant about doing it regularly and constantly for about the past year or so. And I've noticed a big improvement in identifying repeated behaviors that I don't really like and that aren't serving me and are not productive to have. So having them down on paper makes them so much easier to pinpoint, realize where you're going wrong, and try to find solutions for that. Another habit that has really helped me is to try and stop multitasking and take one thing at a time, which is very hard to drill into my brain because I love multitasking and I've gotten so used to it over most of my life. But when you're multitasking, even if you can compartmentalize your brain into doing multiple things at the same time, you're still splitting up your attention. So you'll never be able to put 100% of your attention on something if you're multitasking. And that makes it really hard to stay present because your attention is always split. Taking one thing at a time instead allows you to put all of your focus in it, and it might seem like a waste of time or your energy because you could be doing multiple things at this very moment. But time is an illusion and there's always enough time for whatever you want to do. You just have to make time for it, and taking one thing at a time instead of reducing your productivity actually increases your productivity and also increases your presentness in the moment. So you can concentrate on just doing that one thing instead of being like, oh, I have to do this, but I have to do this at the same time, and I'm listening to music, and I'm also trying to reply this one person, and I'm also trying to work on this creative project and this side hustle. Instead of, right now, I'm just listening to the waves crashing in, and it's really nice. So I love to come up with cheesy metaphors, and one that I've noted down is that life is like a car, where you have to be alert of traffic or else you'll psychologically and emotionally crash because you're the only person in the driver's seat, and even though other people will try to steer your car for you, you're the only person who ultimately has control. And that's really scary. But once you process that and are able to take the reins and take the wheel, so to speak, you start taking responsibility for your life and how you live it, which includes staying present. The more you realize you're in control of your own life, the more grounded you'll be able to stay, and the more you'll be able to do things the way you want to, and to the level of consciousness and presence that you want. Yay. There are people here listening to my TED Talk. I hope they're getting something out of this. Another really important thing you'll be aware of when you're present in your actions is being gentle to non-animate things, which isn't something that's quite commonly stressed, and most people might not agree, but I'd argue that most objects have a consciousness of their own, even though they're not alive per se, or they can't breathe, they don't have a brain, they might not have a soul, but they're still made of matter, and they're still in your life, they're still in your physical surroundings. So if you wouldn't slap a stranger, why would you bang a door? Why would you throw your dishes? Why would you chuck your shoes on the floor? Why would you stamp on the floor really hard? Even though they're not alive, they still deserve respect, and there's no need to cause extra physical harm. It's also about being aware of whether you're subconsciously being violent or letting out your pent-out anger on non-animate things because they can't feel it. But they don't deserve it either, and it's better to, again, reflect and see where that's coming from instead of letting it out by smashing plates or inflicting violence on anything that doesn't need to have it. I get that staying present is sometimes really hard, especially if you're getting overclouded with thoughts and you can't get out of your own head, which you physically can't get out of because you cannot just jump into being someone else, you cannot jump into someone's brain. So it's really important to know how to manage yourself and manage your mind. The most direct and effective way is to tell yourself to shut up, or at least tell a voice in the back of your brain that's constantly spewing your negativity and how things could go wrong and how you're not doing things right and XYZ. Just tell it to shut up, because you don't have to listen to that voice, and you can tell that voice to be positive instead, or at least consider all the options that are not 100% negative and doom and gloom. Just keep telling it to shut up until it eventually shuts up, because it eventually will. But perhaps the most effective way of staying present is to stop doing anything and just let yourself exist as a human being in this moment wherever you are. Things you can do are close your eyes. Stop talking is a huge one, because when you're talking you get into a ranty mood and it's sometimes hard to stop. So try and stop talking. Try to minimize the amount of external sounds or influences that are on you, aka being alone. Finding a place where you can be without distractions, or as few as possible, and maybe listen to music, or even don't listen to music if that's a distraction as well, and just take your environment in. Just look at what's around you, feel what's around you, smell what's around you, taste it if you can, listen, and that usually helps ground yourself and stay more present. Because now I'm looking at a beautiful sunset. I guess if there was a mantra for what I'm rambling about, it would be about living in the present, letting go of the past, and embracing the future, which is so easy to say and again takes months, years of practice, and you still might not perfect it, but it's something that's achievable and anyone can do it. You can do it. It really helps you live a more fulfilled life, in my opinion. It allows you to live your life the way you want to, and that's really what's most important, because this is the only chance you'll get to live this life, and you should make the most of it because it's fun and you're here, so just enjoy it. That was my very long rant about staying present. I hope that was useful somehow to you, and maybe this inspired you to reflect on how present you are in your own life, and maybe try out some of the things that I've found that work in my life. So stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you for the next rant, because I definitely want to rant more. But yeah, I will see you for the next one. Bye!